Hi and welcome to Worldwide Culinary Apprentice Online Cooking School. We're about to show you the technique on how to apply fondant onto a cake, how to make bows, ribbon, flower and little dots. For that class, I have a very special guest chef, Chef Judy Lai. She's the owner of Silk Cakes Bakery in New York City. She has a store in downtown Manhattan and another one in Forest Hill, Queens. She makes the most beautiful cakes and also some beautiful and delicious little pastries. So if you ever have a chance to try it, please do so. You will be delighted with what she makes. Thank you very much for watching.
Hi, my name is Chef Judy Lai, and I will be showing you today fondant cake decorating techniques, and I will be showing you how to make fondant flowers and fondant dots. Okay, so we'll be starting with colored fondant that has been placed in a bag to prevent it from getting dry. So this is very important. Okay, and keep it sealed as well. So you have your fondant that's been colored. What I often do is I add a bit of tylose to this. Okay, so as mentioned in my previous lesson, for the bows and the ribbon making, I add a bit of tylose, so approximately about 1/4 teaspoon of tylose to about 4 to 5 ounces of fondant. So it really depends on how much color you've added to create the moisture, to absorb the moisture. This is what the tylose does, and it helps to thicken it. Okay. I mean, for this case, we don't need too much because we are only making dots as well as flowers that will be adhered to your cake. So our final goal is to apply these flowers as well as dots to a 2-tier fondant covered cake. Okay. So if the fondant gets stuck to your hand, just apply a little bit of shortening. But every time that I roll fondant, I apply a little bit of cornstarch. But you can very well use powdered sugar as well. Okay. I roll these a little bit thin to place this in the pasta machine so that it won't get stuck in the machine. Okay. So if you notice that there may be some dust bunnies, you can take your needle and you can take it out to remove it. Okay. So I'm going to place it in the pasta machine level 1 first. And I'm going to move to level 2. Okay. But because we want to have these flower pieces and dots to be placed on a fondant covered cake, I can make this a little bit thinner. So I tend to go with level 3 or 4 of this pasta machine because you really don't need to make it that thick. Okay, so let's go with level 4. The same applies to when you're making gum paste flowers, but for this case, you can make it a little bit thinner. Okay. So when I have my fondant ready, what I often do is that I cut it into pieces so that I can place underneath a plastic wrap with a towel between it. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so this will help to prevent your fondant pieces from drying out. So it's a plastic wrap with the wet towel between. Okay. Okay, so you have your fondant pieces under here with a wet towel and a plastic wrap. Then I'm working with one piece right now. So most oftentimes when I'm at my shop, what I do is I reuse a lot of the tools I have. I try not to purchase more than I need because things do cost a lot. So what I've often used is the piping tip sets. So you can have any standard piping tip set that you have from home. If you don't have any, I do recommend a set. It is a lot easier than purchasing individually. So what I've done is that I've used the front, the head part, as well as the back part for the circles or the sizes that I need. Okay, so for example, for this cake, I'm just going to use like a random sizes. So you can just, like so, you can just poke right on, and then you have your dots. So it's very simple. You can use different sizes, okay? And don't forget to place these dots, once you make them, into a sealed container, okay? So I can use the sealed containers that I have, okay? And then you can use the ends of it as well, okay? So when you can't take out the fondant pieces from the piping tips, I would just suggest using like a gentle press or gentle push out of the tips. Okay, so you don't want to see the dots on, imprints on the dots. Okay. Okay, so now I'm just going to take these pieces and put them in a container, so I don't want to avoid it from drying out. Okay, and now we can make sugar flowers here. So you can choose any cutters that you have. A lot of times you can even use some of the cutters that you have already, so you don't have to intentionally purchase the ones that I have. But these are just a few that I've used quite often. Okay, just press it down. I often tend to press against one of these boards to avoid any of the little hair follicles, I call it, at the end. You can just use the back of your finger to smooth it out. So when you remove your flower, it's going to be nice and clean all around. Okay, right. So, and then there's another one here. Okay, it's just use the back of your hand. If you start seeing imprints of gadgets being pushed against it, just gently remove it. Okay, so only if you decide that you want to create definition on your fondant with flowers, you can use it with a ball tool and with this foam pad. That's completely up to you. A lot of times when I place fondant flowers or fondant detail onto a two-tier cake, what I do is that I just place it directly after I refrigerate it in a container. I place some water and I adhere it to a two-tier cake. But if you decide that you want to have more of a three-dimensional feel, very similar to gum paste flowers, you can use your ball tool and just ball tool it out a little bit, like so, and then to bring it out a little bit more. So you can see that this will start to protrude out a little bit more when you place onto your two-tier cake. So it really depends on how you want to design it, okay? But you can just leave it flat like so, or you can design it and it comes forward, okay? So we'll do a few and then we'll place it into a box. So you have the option. You may very well, you can make a little bit of both. It's completely up to you. Or you can even style it as you work on your cake. So you can make, for example, something like this. You can, glue it together later with water. That's, also another option. You can be creative as you're working, as you're making the details. A lot of times when I'm making or designing cakes, I tend to change a little bit of the design, depending on, the design itself. Once I see it, the cake stacked directly on top of each other, I may need to change a little bit and to enhance it. And most of my clients tend to be very happy with it because they trust what I offer. But a lot of times I always try to make what they tell me to make. But so that's, it really depends on every project. Okay. So like I said, I place the fondant pieces, the flowers, in a container, okay, to prevent it from drying out. And you can continue to do so for the other fondant pieces that you have. Okay. So it can be any shape, any design. So these were just a few that I'm showing you today, which is dots and fondant flowers. So I hope you enjoy this class, and I hope to see you in my next class. Thank you.